So I probably had about 100 of you guys through messages, through comments or emails requests that I would compare these two awesome watches from Seiko. Last year's retro-inspired hit, the SBDC053, against this year's retro-inspired design, the SBDC063. As you can see, very similar in terms of size. They have basically the same price point, the same bracelet, the same movement, sapphire crystals. I mean, there's very little differences between the two outside of aesthetic preferences. But I think this is an awesome video to do, to compare these two watches, because, you know, if you want to spend around $1,000 or less on a good in-house dive watch that has the wearability, it has the details and the execution, these are among the top that you can buy, especially if you love Japanese divers. These two watches, the 50 series and the 60 series, are just really, really good ones to consider. So let me just start by throwing some dimensions here on the screen so you guys can look at the size differences between the two. Now, although they are very similarly sized, I will say the 53 here on the right plays much larger, especially in person and on the wrist. To me, it has a little bit more wrist presence when you pair that beautiful sunburst blue dial with the blue bezel. I know they're not the exact same shade or hue of blue, but they do play very nicely with each other. And the larger crown at the 3 o'clock position, I think, makes a difference. So, you know, if you like a larger wearing watch, I think you would prefer the 053. It does play just a little bit bigger than the 063. Now, the 063 on wrist is my pick. I love the comfort. It's a little bit thinner, and just the proportions and the curvaceous nature of the design, to me, is a little bit more Seiko-esque. And I just find it melts on the wrist a little bit nicer than the 053. But again, guys, these are just my personal opinions. You may disagree. You may feel differently, and that's totally fine. But just from ownership experience, although they are both comfortable, the 53 plays larger, and I feel the 63 plays a little bit more comfortably. Now let's take a look at the bracelets. They are the exact same bracelet from Seiko, down to the milled clasp. I think the only difference is just going to be the shape of the end link between the two. They both use a pin and collar system to keep the links together, with the small collar being placed in the central portion of each link. I actually think the bracelet's pretty awesome. Far better than any other Seiko bracelet that I've tried at this price point or lower. I really don't have any complaints in regards to the bracelet. Now, the largest difference between these two, I think, is probably going to be the execution of the sapphire crystal. We have sapphire crystals in both, and you'll notice that the 053 has a dramatically domed sapphire crystal with iridescent anti-reflective treatment on the underside. It looks really good, and you do get those distortions from extreme angles that kind of cloud the dial. And again, if you get it in the right light, you can see that iridescent sheen. Some of us really love that effect. Now, if we contrast that with the 063, you'll notice there's a very flat sapphire crystal, and the AR application on the underside is done in a clear treatment. So you do get more legibility from extreme angles. You don't get that sheen. I think it's a little bit more haze-free when you look at the two side by side. But really, again, it's going to come down to personal preference on which one you prefer. They're both very well executed. Now, let me give you some more wrist shots here so you guys can see the two side by side. Kind of see how they wear. The more linear design elements of the 053 look very sharp, and just kind of an eye-catching watch, from the polygonal shaped applied markers to the large controversial pointer handset. It's just a very beautiful watch. There's no denying that, and the wrist presence is very good. Now check out the 063. Again, this is more, I think, of the classic Seiko design with the rounded elements. Check out the side profile. Look at that dramatic bevel on the side of the case. This also really helps with the wearability, and I think if you have smaller wrists, you're really going to enjoy the fit of the 6.3 better than the 5.3. Again, we have very beautiful applied markers. These ones are circular, and the same handset as the 053. There's just little differences found throughout the watch. Some of them being the size of the triangular loom pip. You can see it's much more flared on the 6.3 than the 5.3. If you look at the font, the 5.3 has slightly thicker index and Arabic markers than what's on the 6.3, but just these subtle differences really just kind of help these watches be their own watch, although they are extremely similar in the different executions and elements. So which one would I say? Which is the better watch? They're exactly the same in terms of value. I think it's just going to come down to which one you prefer design-wise. Do you like more presence? Do you like more comfort? All those things are going to come into play. One little difference I kind of forgot to show you guys. Let's look at, again, the side profile. You can see they both have coin edge bezels. The one on the 5.3 is a little bit thinner, a little bit raised. The one on the 6.3 is full down to where the bezel meets the case. Both of them will have drilled lugs, and I think are just great strap monsters. Now, one thing to note, the 5.3 and the 6.3 come on the rubber bracelet, or sorry, the silicone bracelet that you see here on the 6.1 in the background. I think they shine on bracelet best, so I put these on bracelet. These are my favorite combinations out of all the ones that Seiko's done, between the 6.1, the 5.1, the 5.5, the 5.9. I really like the blue on bracelet. So these are the ones that I have. And if you're asking the question, can they both coexist in the same collection? Absolutely. I think they're different enough, and I like the different elements of each that I enjoy wearing one on one day and the other on another day. So these two are going to be sticking around for a while. I really, really like these watches. Great value for money, great execution. Yes, you could buy a let's say a Tissot or a Hamilton with a modified ETA for this price or cheaper. You could buy a base Solita and a gray market Oris. Sure, I mean, there's other watches out there that are certainly popular at this price segment, but these ones have the magic. These ones are original, they're in-house, they're a joy to wear, and I'm really excited to share with you guys today. So if you'd like to purchase one, I would definitely recommend going to japanonlinestore.com, email Kenta, get a price. He's a great customer service. I bought from him many times, and I would definitely recommend japanonlinestore.com. So let me know if you guys have any other questions, if anything I forgot to cover. Hopefully this video was helpful for you. Thanks for taking the time to watch, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.